You guys ready?
Yes.
Thanks for coming. My name is Kelly. I'm the owner of Giasitaliankitchen. I want to give a huge thanks to my mother-in-law, Barbara Erickson, for having me here. And to Tony for setting all this up and making it possible. So thank you. So my husband and I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. We are now in Iowa, so we are here for a visit to see Grandma, and we're doing a cooking thing. So my daughter is Gia. So my father was Irish, so I'm half Irish, half Italian, and Kelly's Italian kitchen doesn't sound very good. So I named it after my daughter, Giovanna, so who was named after my great-grandfather. So thank you for being here today. I'm super excited. I'm nervous, but I'm really excited. This is so amazing. We are going to show you guys how to make homemade pasta and how to do it really easy. It's very easy once you've done it. So on the back table, I did collect 6 or 7 names of people who want to come up and help. So the idea of my culinary school is that it's an experience. It's not a demo. So this is not really a food demo. For the people that are coming up here, it's not a food demo. The rest of you can sit and enjoy and watch. But the premise of my company is interactive cooking experience, whether it's a private dinner party or a team building event at your employer. It's interactive and it's fun. It's not a demo. So these 7 people are going to come up and help us, and I'm going to show them how to do pasta. And they will be getting to taste the pasta. We're going to do it from start to finish. So we're going to make it, we're going to roll it, and then we're going to make a little dish out of it. The rest of you, I do have a special treat. Grandma and I made a bunch of my grandmother's Italian cream puffs. So you each are going to get a cream puff with a little bit of powdered sugar on them, and then some limoncello almonds. Which if you've not had those, be ready to be super wowed. They are amazing. They're not the Jordan almonds, they're yellow and they're beautiful. So I get those from an Italian grocery store, actually in Iowa, I'm sure, up on the north side, they're all over the place. So we are going to get started. I'm going to show you how to make the dough. We're not going to do it by hand, but if you've ever seen the volcano where you put the flour in the egg, you would do that. I'm going to just do it a little easier, a little cleaner up here for today. But let me get my Linda Farrow. You ready? Okay, so there's a hand washing sink in the kitchen back there behind Tony and Barbara. And if you want to just wash, and then they have aprons for you if you'd like an apron, because you are going to get a little flour. Aileen, up you go. Joanna Molesky. Awesome, thank you. Thanks for offering to help, guys. Marianne Murphy. Front row. Jean Sotera. Jean Sotera. Oh, there she is. You still glad you filled out the no problem?
My mind.
Kathleen Stevens. Thank you. And Denise Fox. Sorry, how do you say that? Fox. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, so hand wash, and then we'll have you guys come up on stage, and we're going to get started. So making pasta, like I said, is super easy. There's lots of different recipes that you can do. I think it's really regional. My family is from the Tuscany region, which is kind of around Florence, and there they use more, we're going to do like a fettuccine or a spaghetti, whereas if you're down in the south of Italy, it's more often, I mean, there's pasta shapes all over the place, but more often they're making those little ones, like the orchietti, and they're making those little shapes versus the long strings. So it's kind of regional. You know, if you think of Chicago versus Memphis, you're going to get different, right? That's really all it is. But it's also the recipe. So my grandmother, flour and egg, that's it. So if you're doing, if you think of what you buy in the store, the dried, you know, barilla in the blue box, that's flour and water. So there's no egg in there, it's shelf stable. But the flour and water is also generally what's used in southern Italy because it's tougher and it holds up to make those little shapes a lot easier. Whereas the egg pasta is going to be really easy for us to roll this to make a lasagna noodle or to make the fettuccine or the spaghetti, which is the attachment to the roll. So this is a fun gadget if you don't have one of these. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna make the dough in the Cuisinart, and then we're gonna pair you guys off. So we've got two stations here. We've got the crank over here and the crank over here in the drying rack. So what we're gonna do is show you guys how to roll the dough, which again, you could do this by hand, you could do this on a big rolling pin. My grandma's rolling pin's like this big, right? That is now, you know, she's no longer with us, but it's up on the shelf in my kitchen. So you could do that or use one of these, and this makes it a lot easier. So we'll clean you guys up and show you how to use these, and you're gonna actually help roll the pie. That, you guys feel all good that you're on stage? You can bail if you want to bail. Okay, so we're gonna make sure this thing has power. Okay, so we're gonna do super simple. And if you didn't get a sheet of paper in the back on the table, is your one page on the front is what we're doing today. On the back is more information about me. But that recipe is right on the front. It's so easy. 1 cup of flour, 2 eggs, that's it. Now what we're gonna do though, is we'll have to eyeball it. And that'll be your first task, is we're gonna actually feel the dough, because depending on the size of the eggs, right? Or if I am measuring properly, we don't want the dough to be too sticky. So you're gonna have to feel it and make sure that it's the right consistency, because we don't want it to get stuck in our machine. Because if it's too sticky, it's gonna get stuck in here. So we'll do our 2 eggs. And you wanna use large eggs, not jumbo, because then again, you're gonna be kind of messing with that flour ratio. But we will feel it and make sure it's good. Okay, so loud noise for just a minute. Now, if you don't have a Cuisinart, this is also, like, you should put this on your Christmas list or your birthday list. This is the best appliance in my kitchen. I make the pasta, I make homemade pizza dough, I make homemade pesto, homemade hummus, garlic, which I'll share with you when we get to that part. This is the best appliance. So loud noise. We're gonna turn this on. And I know you're thinking, that was terrible. What is she doing? Right? Who's thinking that? Anyone? See, raise your hand. Yeah, she's like, that's not gonna work. It's magic. Magic. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's okay, so why don't you guys come up, all of you guys come up. We're just gonna take your index finger or whatever and push down on this. And I want you to feel how it's too sticky. It should not, you should not feel this, you should not see this. So just push a little bit and you shouldn't get that sticky. Ooh, I'm sorry. Grandma, could you grab some napkins so they can wipe their fingers off? It's too sticky, right? Did you feel it? Okay. So what we're gonna do is add a little more flour, but we want to add a little bit at a time, because if you add too much, then you're in the conundrum of, ooh, now we need another egg, and then you're just going to be doing this all day, right? You don't want to do this all day. So just a tablespoon. Now, in the back, this is going to look even worse now, because what's going to happen since I added the flour, it's going to fall apart, but it is going to come back together. So, but that's good because it's getting back into incorporated. Oh, now just a little push, yeah. Yeah, good question. I'll ask, or I'll show you. You guys feel a difference? And it's not on your fingers, right? Maybe a little flour, but no. So that's what we want. So we're ready to roll. Now, the recipe that you have in here is gonna do 4 batches of what I'm gonna do in my machine. If you're doing it by hand, you can do it kind of however you want. But in these machines, I divide this into like 3, usually 4 pieces, because it's like the right amount of width that'll go through here without getting stuck. You don't want it to touch stuff. So, and we did have a question. Can I get one of those little plates? Thank you. And we're gonna add a little bit of flour to this. And then we're gonna divide it up. So we'll do the board. And you want to flour a little bit on the edge, but then brush it off so that it's not caked on there. It's just coating it really lightly so that it's not sticky. And then we're going to go over to the machine. We're going to kind of form it into a rectangle. And then we're going to roll it through here. So if any of you, who has one of these? Anyone? Oh, yay. Okay. So you guys should be up here. Or you already know what you're doing. So on the side, the dial is numeric, and different machines have different numbers. Some go up to 6 or 7, some go up to 9. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you look down and the setting that you're on, some of them start at 9 versus starting at 0. Mine starts at 0. You want it to be the widest, right? Not the skinniest. So get it to the widest setting. You put it in, roll it through, and then we start making our dough. And then one by one, we take the flour. And you'll feel it, ladies, as you're rolling it and you're changing the setting. You want to feel that dough each time, because if it does start to get sticky again, you want to just take a little bit of flour, dust it, and then dust it off before going back so that it doesn't stick to the machine. So I'm on 1. I started with 0.
So if you're rolling it out by hand?
Yeah. So really, I like it really, really thin, almost to the point, and I'll show you. Let me get to, so on my machine, this goes up to 9, but I only go to 6 because it gets perfectly thin, but every time I go to 7, it rips. And it almost becomes see-through, and then it rips. So for me, that's my magic spot on this is stop at 6. But when you're doing it by hand, I mean, I would still kind of, hold it up, and it's well, you can see here for the light, but if it starts tearing as you roll it, then stop. Yeah. But it's really a preference. If you want it thicker than that, because you like that as your the thickness of your pasta, it's a personal preference. Okay, so I'm on 4. So you guys are going to be teaming up. One's going to be cranking, one's going to be doing the ketchup. If you're not used to doing this, it's not as easy. I'm probably making it look right. Hopefully I'm making it look easy. Okay, so let's do one more little flour.
See, but I would have done. Because it's already in the
It's thin. We're gonna do one more. Hopefully I don't eat my words. Going to 6. Back. Not all. So one thing that you can do is stop here and rest the dough. This is like if you're in a restaurant and you order the lasagna and it's like 10 layers. They're doing the homemade pasta, of course, right? They're not doing a box of pasta where each layer of pasta is this thick. So this, and you can put this in your lasagna, no cooking. You just put it in, add extra water, extra sauce. You don't even have to cook it. And then you can get like 4 or 5 layers and then it's right? So, but what we're gonna do, not make it. I'm gonna cut this in half just because it's gonna be a little bit easier to cut. And we're gonna take this crank and just shift it to here. And out comes the fettuccine. How fun is that? Frying rack. Now, what you could do is you could be making the pasta, throwing it in the water. It's kind of however you want your assembly line. I think it's easier to like make all the pasta, dry it out, and it's not gonna get dry, but just like hang it so it doesn't clump and get back into a big pile of dough. Then we'll come at the end and we'll cook the pasta, make the dish. So we're gonna just make all the pasta now, and then so you want to catch for me? Okay, so I'll come over here. So you come here. You're gonna just catch. Here it comes. You got it, and then just kind of let it come to your hand. Perfect. And then we can lay it on the same one. Some applause for your. So that's what we're doing. You guys excited? Okay, I'm gonna leave because you guys know how to do this, right? Good to go? Okay. Okay, so let's have the first two over here, and I'll give you your rectangle of dough here. And we'll put this back here. Everyone's gonna do, you guys are all gonna take turns. So I'll give you this. So you'll decide if you're gonna be the crank or you're gonna be the catcher or the crank. So, I'm sorry? Cranky? Yeah, I'm not cranky. Yep, that's perfect. So and what you're gonna look for is just, nope, this way, is that it doesn't go to the side. So as she's catching, and you're not gonna pull, you're just gonna catch. So are you right-handed or left-handed? Okay, perfect. So with your left hand, hold this. With the right hand, hold this, and then you're gonna catch and go fast. Go, 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 go. Okay. So, see what happened. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're on the lowest setting.
Oh.
So if you're thinking, I'm skipping all those steps.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we're gonna do. Don't skip. Yeah.
It was too thin.
You gotta go back to zero. So you pull out. And then go actually the other way. Yep. And then you'll see the numbers. Yep. So you want to go all the way to zero. So if there's some dough under here, we're gonna take that off. And yeah, give me a roll. And then backwards. Okay, so hopefully all the dough's out of there. Okay, so now left hand and now crank. Yay! Yeah, so you add a little more flour and then we're just gonna go one at a time. Yep, and go to one. Okay, let's get you guys going on this side. Now this one, I'm gonna add a little flour in here. And make sure, this is kind of like seasoning it, like you would season your cast iron. You gotta kind of season this to get some flour in the groove. And then if you own one of these, or if you are going to get one of these, the rule of thumb, never, ever, 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 ever put it in water.
Oh.
Do not clean it with water. If it looks like this, just shake it off and put it back in the box. If there's pasta stuck under here, let it sit out, let it dry, shake it, put it back in the box. The dough will come out, I promise you. You shake it, turn it upside down, shake it, all the pasta will come out. But what happens if you submerge it in water or really get it wet at all, it's gonna get into parts. It might rust, but it's going to contain more, it's gonna hold moisture somewhere in the crevice there, because I've thrown one of these away. And it will find the pasta and it will gum up your pasta. So just, you do not need to clean it with water, just it. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, let's get you a rectangle. Is Tony still here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know I was using a lot of flour? I don't know if I told you I was gonna make a big mess up here. Okay, so you guys are kind of reversed. So the person's catching, and then let's get this, so that we're on 0. So are you left-handed or right-handed? Okay, so you're probably gonna wanna come like this also. And you'll put it in there. So you want it as kind of a rectangle, you don't wanna make it any wider. And is it feeling sticky or is it still feeling flowery? Okay, so left hand on the pasta. And then right hand is doing that, and go fast, and you're catching. That's it. Perfect. So, and if you want a little more flour, just do a little more dust, and then turn it over. And then turn your crank, you're gonna pull it out, and then just turn it one and then cook. And same thing, so you're gonna catch, try not to pull, get it all. Perfect. Then we'll do one more crank. We're all gonna get to do that. Okay. Let me get some cover. And I'm gonna give a check on the water here. Please, the water's boiling. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. And then we're gonna do, the dish we're gonna make. This is a really simple, it's not a gravy or a marinara or a Sunday sauce at all, but this is a delicious, quick, sauce that you guys are gonna get to taste today. So it's gonna be extra virgin olive oil, some black pepper, some, it's called wild garlic. It's from Olivelli. It's an olive oil company that, is from out west. And it's kind of like your Italian seasoning, but with more flavoring in there. And then we're gonna do some fresh garlic and some pecorino romano. So, we'll get more on that in a little bit. Yeah, and when you're putting them on the rack, you wanna try to have them not touch. But if they do, it's okay. So when you're coming out with that, see how these are really close together? That's okay. They might be touching, but they'll be okay. But you can separate them. Totally. No, you can. However you want it. You're gonna be eating. Yeah, you guys ready? Okay. Okay, so first thing, we're gonna check to make sure we're on 0. Okay, so this is in here tightly. The left hand here, and you're gonna go forward. Actually, you're gonna come over here because you're touching over here. Yep. And just pull. Yeah, it's a little bit of a twister game. Go quick. Don't let it hit the edge. Go quick. Yep. And then we'll try it. One, let's get a little more flour on there. Yeah, and then turn it over. Yep. And then go quick. Yep. Perfect. Yep. And you can add more flour if you want. So you know what? Before we cut, actually, I want to cut it in half because it's going to be a lot easier for you guys to maneuver. Yep. Almost didn't touch it. Go quick, keep it in the center. Go, hang on. You gotta catch it like this. Go. 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 Okay. So she picked the spaghetti setting, which is great. Oh, you didn't mean to? So there's lots of attachments. I only brought this one that has the spaghetti and the fettuccine. Okay, so let's get that. You want to try the fettuccine? Oh, you know what? I didn't flour. That's okay. Okay, ready? So you're gonna catch as soon as it comes out. You're gonna just start pulling a little bit towards you. You're gonna go, crank. There you go. So then we'll, yay. Yep, so we're just gonna connect from this. Because it'll be easier to maneuver when it's not. So when my son does this, oh yeah, so this just comes out and then goes in the other side. And you're gonna, still clockwise, yeah, so you're gonna be cutting this like this. And she's catching, yep. It's coming towards you. There you go. There. Yay! So when my son does this, he's in college and he has like dinner parties. It's so cute, like proud mama. And he'll make that whole batch and not cut it into four, and he'll run it through the whole thing and have everyone just like doing this and catching the pasta because they think that's all really funny. But I love it. He's doing it. He's doing the thing. Okay. How you guys doing? Did everyone get to do, did you, everyone get a little? Okay, okay, good. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, thanks, guys. Give that. Okay, so I'm gonna make. We're gonna bring some of this over here. And we're gonna get cooking with our pasta. So with boxed pasta, when it's already dried, you know, it could take about 8 to 10 minutes. This is gonna take, yeah, 2 to 3 minutes. Now we did fettuccine. If we did spaghetti, for sure, like 2. But the fettuccine, maybe 3. Okay, so I'm gonna get just a little bit in here at a time. And if they start sticking together, just pull them apart, because as soon as they get in the water, they won't stick together, but if you put them in there in one lump, it'll be bad.
Did you salt the water?
I did that before, yeah. Good question. Okay, so. I mean, 3 minutes, I'm looking at them. I don't know, you guys can't really see them. They will change colors a little, but not too much. When you have homemade pasta, they float right away, so that's not an indication. If you've got the dry box pasta, it is an indication, like when they start floating, that's a good indication, but not this fresh pasta. If it's dried, it will float when it's done, because it should go straight to the bottom at the beginning, but not the fresh. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit of this pasta water.
Now, do you always like make your pasta and cook it the same day?
I think that's best. You can, of course, like make it yesterday and put it in your fridge, and do it the next day, but I think it's gummy. I mean, like we just did it, that was put out. So it's gonna be best if you can. Okay, so what we've got in here. That would be cool if there was a camera that came down.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of this in there. Now, one thing that I will say for whether you're making something like this or you're making a marinara or a carbonara or whatever, my rule of thumb, my grandma's rule of thumb was that the pasta never goes just on a plate and then onto the table and then you like, you know, pour yourself. You gotta put it in the pot with the sauce, let it take a little bath because the pasta water is gonna help the sauce adhere to the pasta. It's gonna finish cooking in here and, you're gonna have sauce on every bite. Like, you want that, right? So, okay, so we're gonna take these out. And they're a little bit lighter in color, I would say, than before they went in. You guys see that? Yeah. So they're almost done. Not quite, because then they're gonna come in here. So we're gonna let this come up to temperature. Which it is not, and we'll get there. Okay. So while we're waiting for that, let's come back to this. I had a question, when we were doing the dough. Can you do this in a blender or your stand mixer? No, I mean, you could try it, but it's not gonna turn out, the dough is not gonna turn out. The reason that this Cuisinart is the perfect appliance for this, unless you're gonna do it by hand, is really the blade, the width of the bowl and the plate. Because you need it to scoot out, you need it to be able to do that rolling action, and you need this wide plate. Whereas your blender or your Vitamix or whatever you got, there might be 4 to 6 blades going up, but they don't go out. And so they're not gonna do the dough. Yeah, by hand, you can totally. You make your little volcano, you put your egg, 1 cup of, same thing, 1 cup of flour, 2 eggs, put the eggs in the middle, and you would do with a fork, and you would kind of go around until they got incorporated, and then you would either roll it out or you could use the roller. So the Cuisinart just makes it easier.
Do you use room temperature?
Sometimes that matters. I don't think it matters with the pasta. Yeah. The question was, do I need to have the eggs room temperature? They've been out for not even a half hour. Don't leave them out longer than 2 for sure, because you don't want those sitting out, but that is not a mandatory. Okay, so this is bubbling now, perfect. So we're gonna put our pasta in there. And I'm gonna put a little more pasta in here.
Where can I find the wild garlic?
So I got it at, it's called the Brick Kitchen. It's an upscale kitchen store in Iowa, which is where I am from now, where I live now.
So do we take a field trip?
So you can take a field trip. Or, the company, you're welcome, I can show you, or, you're welcome to come up at the end and look at the bottle, take a picture of it. I would imagine you can find it online. I don't know, because I always get it in person. But it's the Olivelli company that does that.
Yeah.
So dried tomato, wild garlic, basil, oregano, sweet bell pepper. So I mean, it's close to an Italian season, but it definitely tastes different. It's got the sun-dried tomatoes in there. Okay, then I'm gonna add some fresh cracked black pepper. You guys okay with garlic? Does anyone not like garlic? Actually, garlic? Okay. Huh? So this is my other favorite thing about my Cuisinart is the garlic, because this is not a jar from the store. This is a bunch of cloves that I already shucked, or you can buy them pre-shucked usually it's in the fridge in where the vegetables are in the grocery store. I put the whole bunch in here, take the shucks off, and then mince them up, put them in these little freezer-safe jars, and add extra virgin olive oil, stick them right in the freezer. And this keeps for months and months. And then whether you're making a stir fry or a sauce, your garlic is done and you don't have to mess with that, because that is annoying to me. I hate doing that. Like every time you're making dip, right? So. Okay, who wants to taste? Let's do a couple of people. Yeah, we'll see how far we get. And then we'll put the other batch in. So the last thing I'm gonna add to the top of this. Oh yeah. is, actually, let me get a little more popular. Dry up. Oop. Okay, is some fresh parsley. I already washed this. And my mom, when she does this, it's hysterical, and I'm sure she's gonna. Okay. She'll take a regular scissors. I've got these scissors that have the multiple thingies. I love these. But she'll take a regular scissors and she'll go like this. One. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? She's like, this, you have to do it this way. And I'm like, no, no. She's so much more patient. But I love this tool because it does 4 to 10. And we're getting a little bit of parsley on there. And a little bit of pecorino romano. So pecorino romano is like a Parmigiano Reggiano, but it's different. So again, think of that regional aspect. Parmigiano Reggiano is more from the kind of mid and southern Italy. It comes from a cow. Pecorino romano, where we came from, more mid to the north, is from a sheep. So if you just think of regional, there's just, I mean, there's cows and sheep all over. But I grew up in the Pecorino Romano. It's a little easier on your digestion to have the sheep's milk. So if you think of like a goat cheese, a lot easier on your digestion than cow's cheese. And it's a little nuttier, a little saltier. So I love that. That's what I grew up with. So that's what we're gonna have. And we've got our first 2 plates. So here you go. And if you don't like it, don't tell me. Okay? Yeah, okay, so are you guys jealous? You getting jealous? Can you smell? Can anyone smell it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Good. Good. So what we have for everybody is, and Tony and Barbara are going to help us there, the cream puff. So you all get a cream puff and the limoncello almond. So those, they're going to pass those out. And you guys, I'm going to keep making these, and you're all going to get a little dish pop. And you can have cream puffs. And if they taste the limoncello almonds, they're amazing. And I'm going to just keep making these batches. So the cream puff, we have a little powdered sugar, but if you do not want sugar, we do have some that don't have the powdered sugar on them. Now that recipe of the cream puffs is my mom's. It's flour, water, butter, eggs. There is no sugar in the recipe at all. So if you don't want sugar, just ask for one that doesn't have the powdered sugar. Now normally what we do with the cream puff is I would make them bigger. Those are about 1/3 of a regular size. Cut them in half or cut the tops off, and then I fill them with a beautiful curry chicken salad with walnuts. It's so good. And so you get that as your first course, and then your second course is the cream puff filled with my homemade limoncello into a mascarpone custard. So these are amazing. But that's why I wanted you to taste the limoncello almonds, because they give you a little bit of hint. Ladies, how's the pasta? Yay, good, they like it. Okay, let's get some more going.
These are delicious.
Thank you. Yeah, but bites on the cream puff, what do you guys think? I wish I could have filled them all for you, but the powdered sugar is a nice little add on top.
My mother used to fill these with custard.
Yeah, my grandma did regular custard, like a vanilla custard, and I love doing the limoncello mascarpone that you would do. I do on my limoncello tiramisu. Is way better than my grandma.
Yeah, I have my mom's recipe and then.
It's actually, the cream puffs themselves are not a difficult recipe. All right. Yep. Our last batch in here. All right, we'll let that go. We'll check on this. Oh. So at home, the reason that I wanted to do this, I'm sure you guys noticed that it's a Zoom that I'm just, it's going nowhere at the moment, but I wanted to show you that, because like I mentioned at the beginning, kind of the premise of my cooking school is that I do private dinner parties. So, and a lot of them I do virtually. So if you think about where your kids live or where your grandkids live, if they're not here, it's a wonderful way to have a dinner party with them where you pick the menu, we video you all in, and we all make dinner together. It's super fun. So the one that I did a couple months ago, that I think is just a beautiful example of, you know, why I'm doing this. It's a mom and dad, and they live in an RV. They're retired, and they're driving all over the country doing their thing, you know, doing the national parks and whatever. So they don't have a home base. I think their home base is like Missouri. And then they have 3 boys. They all live in different states. And there's grandkids all over the country, and they can't see them very often. So we do these Zooms. I'm on there. The parents are on there. The 3 households are on there. They're all making the same thing. You know, the kids are running in, Grandma, I did soccer today. And we're having a private virtual dinner party. So that's what I mainly do. So on the back of your sheet there is more information on there. My website's on there. If you like QR codes, the QR code is on there so that you can get to my social media and my website. So I would love to share more information about that, or if you have questions, certainly shout them out. But that's a super fun way to connect, have dinner with them like you would like to, and maybe don't get to as often as you like. Okay, here we go. Couple more. There you go. And one more here. There you go. A little bit hot, be careful. Okay, last batch here. So a lot of them I do in person. So if you do want an in-person one, I can come to you and do a private dinner party, at, you know, at your house or wherever.
In Illinois?
Well, I mean, my family's all from here. Grandma's right there. Yeah, so I'm here all the time. Yeah. Yeah. So the semolina, yeah, the semolina is the more coarse ground. That's what you're gonna do where you're getting like the rigatoni, the penne, or the orchietti, where you're making the shapes on here. And that's the recipe where it would be flour and water. This is the flour and egg. So you're using AP flour, or I like to use 00 flour because, especially for a pizza, because the 00 is really, really fine and you can roll it out to get that cracker crust on the pizza. But that's really the difference on like when would you use which one. Yeah, other questions, shout them out. Batch number 2, how's the pasta?
For your Zoom calls, for your Zoom
Yeah,
dinners, how many, is it limited to the number of, because I have a big family.
okay.
So is it, how many could you do?
If I'm doing it virtually, 6 locations,
Okay.
you can have like 10 people in each location if you want, but 6 locations is about the tipping point that it gets a little chaotic. So that would be, I'm happy to entertain that, but it would be, more optimal if that was the max for everyone's experience, because then, you know, the noise and it's just, yeah, because what I do, like in the virtual classes, I'm on too, and I'm making exactly what you're making. I'm making the whole dinner, and the other premise of what I do, as you saw here, I didn't prep anything, right? I didn't even cut the first thing. I prepped nothing. So when I do a private dinner party, I prep nothing. And when we're cutting the onion and we're cutting the bell pepper, I'm doing that with you right there, step by step, so that you can say, wait, how many eggs did you put in there? And it's real-time question. So that's what I like to do is the teaching aspect, you know, showing you how to do it so that you can go home, recreate it, do it yourself, and that's what I love. So I want to show you how to do it, and not prepping ahead of time is really key to that. So does everyone have a cream puff? How are they? Good.
Lemon chill.
And limoncello, yeah, the almond. What do you got? Aren't they amazing? Yeah.
Costco, I heard they come in Costco.
You know, you can get them online. There's lots of places you can probably get them, but I would, like anything of the ingredients that I get, even that pecorino is imported. If the closer you can get to imported from Italy versus made in America, I hate to say that, but when you come to food, there's a lot less crap in the food. There's a lot less preservatives, GMOs. I mean, I'm all over that, from a health standpoint. So, if it's made in Italy, imported from Italy, it's probably going to have less, additives and chemicals. So the almonds, the flour, the cheese, whatever, my recommendation. But you guys have Caputo. I don't have Caputo here.
Oh, that's too bad.
Very jealous. Because they have good flour. They have great 00 flour to make the pasta and the pizza dough. That's probably my favorite flour. Okay. Let me get 2 more. You guys hungry? I know, I'm so sorry. You're waiting so patiently. Almost there. Almost there. Yes, good question. So I'm using the curly. You can use the Italian flat leaf. I really don't think they taste that different. So you can use whichever one you can find or whichever one you prefer. Yeah, I like this. I think it's pretty and it's very decorative. And again, this is kind of what my grandma would grab. So this is like what I grab. I'm sorry? Oh, the cheese, Pecorino Romano. So remember Pecorino, because I'm glad you asked that. The other thing to look for, and again, I care, you may not care, but if you're in the grocery store, there's a ton of Italian cheese. A lot of them are fake. It is. Pecorino is harder to find. It's a lot easier to find here than in Iowa. But the Romano is the region. The Pecorino is the cheese, but you'll see some packages that are like Italian brand, and the whole label is Romano. Like, that's not a cheese. It's a region. And if you flip it over, it's from a cow. Wrong. That's wrong. So, just, read labels, I guess, is a key takeaway there. Read labels and look for the word Pecorino. Oh yeah, Caputo for sure has. Absolutely. Yeah. And, or, you know, the Parmigiano Reggiana is delicious too. It's, if you find the authentic stuff, you know, please don't buy the stuff in the green container. It's on a shelf,
Yeah.
but that's like not even there. Has to be in the fridge. I think they're just vegetables. They've got, five flavors, yeah. Yeah, just vegetable shears, I think. Say it again? Herb, yeah, probably herb cutting business, yeah. Patiently waiting, ladies, there we go. I gotta give one to Brent. Get a little parsley on this one. So are any of you guys on social media?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So at a minimum, it would really be awesome and super appreciated if you do go on social media. I'm on all of them, Facebook, Instagram, I hate TikTok, but I'm on TikTok, Twitter. If you could YouTube, I have like over 100 videos, on my YouTube channel. If you could go on there and just like me and follow me and subscribe me and comment and do all those social media things to help me grow, that would be awesome. I've been doing this for a few years now. I started out as a personal chef, and that was just kind of not what I was wanting to do. And then when 2020 hit, that morphed into doing these personal classes. And now I do them every month at a few different places in town. I do the private ones. I do these larger group classes. And it's just what I love to do. I love to teach and show you guys how easy it is and have you go, that was so good. Yeah, if you could just help me grow and do the social media thing, that would be awesome. And if you would like more information, you have my email and all that contact information on the sheet, but happy to answer questions. That is our program for today. So thank you so much for coming.